You're here because you would like to start playing Pokemon Unite, but you really don't know anything about it and you're looking for some background. Well, this is a great channel for you. I concentrate on content for the casual or novice player. In this particular video, I'm going to go over every Pokemon available in the game. I'm going to tell you which ones are good for novice players. But I will tell you that there are some licenses that I do not have, and so I cannot give you an opinion. The first one I'm going to start with is Venusaur. It is rated as a difficulty, novice, and attacker. An attacker's goal in this game is to knock out the opponents on the other team and a score. That is your job. I will tell you, I don't agree with the rating of novice. I think this Pokemon is intermediate for two reasons. One, it has 3 evolutions. The first evolution, which is Bulbasaur, is really weak. It's slow to get started in the game. And then, I'm not a plant biologist, so I don't know the name of it, but there's a plant part that you, flick at the other players to knock them out. I've had a lot of trouble with that and aiming it. Maybe it's because I'm playing on the Switch. Maybe it's easier on the phone. I don't know. For those two reasons, I think it should be intermediate and not novice. The next Pokemon, Charizard, rated difficulty novice. It's an all-rounder, which pretty much means it's good at everything. I don't have a lot of experience playing this Pokemon. That number with the Pokeball in it that says 150, that is this Pokemon's experience points. I recently just purchased it, but I can tell you that this Pokemon has really beat me up in this game. It has a phenomenal Unite move. That's a move that is so special. You only get to use it every couple of minutes, and it takes me out every time. So I highly suggest this for a novice player. The next one is Blastoise. Difficulty novice. It is a defender. That means you are going to defend the base, the score zone, and your teammates. Defenders typically are very slow. They don't move very quickly, so keep that in mind. For that reason, even though this is rated novice, I really don't think beginner players should start with Defender. I think you should become familiar with what all of the different Pokemon and their roles do in the game before you try to play the Defender position. The next one is everybody's favorite Pokemon, Pikachu. It's difficulty novice. It's an attacker, so you're going to want to spend your time attacking Pokemon on the other team and scoring. And a lot of the other Pokemon you play have the disadvantage that they evolve 3 times. Pikachu doesn't evolve at all. It doesn't turn into Raichu, so you're actually going to be stronger earlier in the game, and that's why it's good for the novice. I personally like to play Pikachu in the quick games, not the full games, because the other Pokemon are going to pass you up, and you're not going to be strong anymore, and you're really going to get beaten to a pulp. So for that reason, I highly suggest it as novice, but maybe for the quick games instead of the full games. The next one is Alolan Ninetales. It's difficulty novice. It's an attacker, so you're going to be knocking out the other team's Pokemon and scoring. Definitely an easy Pokemon to play. I highly suggest it for novice players. The next one is Slowbro, rated difficulty of novice. That's a defender. So you're going to be guarding the base, your other team members, and the score zones. There's a task in the solo challenge. I made a video on it, so if you get to that, you can go and watch that video. But there's one thing about Slowbro that I don't like. It is a move that it has that every other Pokemon, you press this button and you attack. This particular one, it falls asleep, which I don't like. So keep that in mind when you're playing it, but it is definitely a great Pokemon for a novice, just maybe a little bit later after you start the game. The next one is Snorlax, difficulty novice as a defender. And I personally find Snorlax boring, so I don't play it. but some other people I've seen play it really well. It has two really great moves. One of them is you lay flat on the base so the other team can't score. There's another one where you basically become a wall and you shift back and forth so that the opposing team can't pass you. Both really good moves, good for a novice, just probably don't start with a defender early when you're playing the game. The next one is Sylveon, difficulty novice. It's rated as an attacker. I don't have experience playing this, so I can't really give you my opinion, but the game does rate it as novice, and the EV evolutions are very popular in the game. Cinderace, difficulty novice. It's an attacker. I personally don't think this should be novice. I think it should be intermediate. The main reasons, there's two reasons. One, it's a 3 evolution Pokemon. The beginning evolution is really weak. Once you get to Cinderace, you're basically kicking around a fireball. I have trouble, at least on the Nintendo Switch, kind of aiming and figuring out where that's supposed to go. It may be easier on the phone, I don't know, but I have trouble playing Cinderace, so I probably don't want to recommend it for a novice player. The next one is Eldegoss, rated as novice. It's a supporter. This is the first supporter we've seen in the list that is a novice. I highly suggest it. It's easy to play. You're not going to get a lot of recognition. You're not going to be scoring a lot of goals. Your primary purpose is to be helping your teammates. You will be following your teammates around. It has a shield move. Typically when I play it, I just run around looking for my teammates, shield them, make sure I'm there when they're struggling, and that's it. Really easy to play, unlike a lot of the other supporters I've played. Highly suggested for novice players. The next one, Umbreon, rated as novice. It's a defender. I have not played this Pokemon at all. It's actually giving me a limited use license for the next 3 or so days. I should take advantage of it. So I can't give you any advice, but the game does rate it for novice players. Next one, Chandelure, is rated as novice. It's an attacker. I, again, have not played it, so I can't give you any advice, but the game does rate it for novice players. The next one is Comfey, difficulty novice. It's a supporter. I haven't played it. I can't give you any advice, so I don't know if it's going to be any easier than Eldegoss. Eldegoss is pretty darn easy to play, so I can't really recommend it myself, but it is rated for the novice player. The next one is Clefable, difficulty novice. It's supposed to be a supporter. I have never played it, so I can't tell you whether I would recommend it over Eldegoss. The next two are Mewtwo. There is a Mewtwo Y and a Mewtwo X. One of them is an all-rounder, one of them is an attacker. I just tried them. Sometimes it gives you the ability to try a license. I did that. I wasn't impressed at all. I would say if you're a huge Mewtwo fan, then maybe it's worth the investment, but I don't. I'd rather play some of the other Pokemon, which I think are better. The next one, Azumarill, it's rated for novice and an all-rounder, so it's good at everything. I have not played it, so I cannot recommend it, but I can tell you that when it came out, it was extremely popular in the game. Next, we have Ho-Oh. It was just recently introduced in the game. I have not had the opportunity to play it yet. It is rated novice as a defender. I'm not sure if it's, since it's a bird, it's going to go faster than the typical defender. I would hope so, but I can't give you an opinion because I haven't tried it. The last one on their list, but not my list, so stick around, is Miraidon. It is rated difficulty novice. It's an attacker, so it's going to concentrate on the other team's Pokemon and scoring. I tried it. I didn't like it. There were so many other better Pokemon out there. I felt like it would be a complete waste of my hard-earned coins in the game, so keep that in mind. So I just tried it a little bit, but it is rated as novice. Alright, this is where my list deviates from their list. Garchomp, difficulty intermediate. It's an all-rounder, so it's good at everything. I think this should be rated as Novice, and this is why. It is a 3-evolution Pokemon. The first evolution is stronger than any first evolution Pokemon I've played. It has a great Earthquake move that shatters the ground underneath you and damages the Pokemon around you. You're also harder to knock out. For that reason, and because it's so easy to play, I personally think this should be rated as Novice and not Intermediate. It is well worth spending in-game coins or currency on this Pokemon. The next one on my expanded list is Machamp. The game rates it as Intermediate and an all-rounder, so it's good at everything. I do not agree with this. I think it should be Novice. This is probably the first Pokemon I played in this game. I love it. All you do is hit other players. I mean, how easy can that be? I don't really know why it's rated Intermediate, but it does start weak with Machamp, so keep that in mind. My next expanded list is Mamoswine. Difficulty Intermediate. It's a defender. I don't really know about Intermediate. I don't know what makes it Intermediate, but as I said before, you probably don't want to start with a defender in the game. You want to work up to it. But I find Mamoswine the most fun defender to play. That's why I like it. But keep in mind that it's really weak in the beginning until you unlock your Unite move later in the game. But it's really fun to pounce on other Pokemon. It'll stand up on its hind legs and then bang its front feet on the Pokemon, and it's really powerful and it makes it really fun to play, so I highly suggest it as a defender. The last thing on my list is Talonflame. Difficulty Intermediate. It is a speedster. I have not mentioned a single speedster in this video until now. It's my favorite Pokemon in the game. A speedster is going to go in the center lane. So there's an upper lane, a lower lane, a center lane. You're going to want to stay in there until you get really powerful, almost until you unlock your Unite move, and then you're going to want to break out and start hitting all of the other Pokemon. Until then, you're just battling wild Pokemon because you are really weak until you get out of that center lane. So keep that in mind. You probably don't want to start with it. The Unite move is also a little finicky. You're going to run into a lot of walls until you get used to it. But I really like this as a Pokemon, and that's why I'm suggesting it for Speedster. Thank you for watching.